Mr Speaker, I too want to congratulate Rahui Katane on her intentions, on her good intentions in encouraging healthy eating. But, Mr Speaker, this bill is riddled in flaws, and it is no better illustrated by the Labour Party themselves, who did nothing for 9 long years. But, Mr Speaker, listen what Mr Phil Goff said to Radio New Zealand. He said its leader, Phil Goff, has told a meeting in Nelson removing GST on fresh food and vegetables would be positive for health reasons and could also ease the pressure on family budgets. But, Mr Goff says, it won't adopt it as policy if it turns out it would create more red tape than it's worth. Well, only 2 minutes earlier, who but the colleague of Phil Goff, none other than Trevor Mallard, posted on his blog, "Spot the irony." In 2 weeks' time, the Māori Party will vote for a very silly bill to take GST off healthy food. Just imagine trying to define that and how much of each we are allowed to eat each day, each hour, each week before GST kicks in. And the army of inspectors to check out the food and the increase in GST or other tax to cover the difference. On the one hand, we've got Phil Goff saying one thing, on the other, we've got Trevor Mallard saying the other. But tonight, Mr Speaker, we've heard Annette King saying, we think the definition is complicated. But Rahui Katane, she said, don't bother about that. All definitions could be dealt with by administrators. All definitions could be dealt with by administrators. And then in Section 5, she defines healthy food. And in each one of those sections there is a flaw. For instance, in A, she talks about canned foods. Can you remember all that sugar swilling around in some of those magnificent canned foods? In Section B, she talks about all bread. How much nutrition is in pure white refined bread? In Section C, cheese and milk, plain milk. To some people that would just chug up the arteries. And 4, in Section D, poultry and seafood. And it all depends on the way it's cooked. Mr Speaker, this bill is riddled in flaws, and no one other than the Labour Party illustrates that so clearly.
The debate is concluded, so I'll put the question, which is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. No. Noes have it. Party vote. Clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
58 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
42 votes in favour.
Green Party.
9 in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
Toko whā e tau toko anu.
Progressive.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Honourable Chris Carter. Any other votes?
Ayes of 56, noes of 64. The motion is not agreed to. Call on members.